as we look and stare into the abyss. You never know what's staring back at you. It's coming.
All these voices.
Don't worry, Spring. The phone we heard alone.
We had tons of activity, including a demon attack that called JC, the founder of Shadows Pit Paranormal, to puke all over the place like projectile vomit. It was insane, and he got scratched on the neck. We captured a disembodied face that was screaming, and we also captured a couple different full-body operations, which was badass. Now, Baba Yaga was a Slavic witch, but she was also a supernatural guardian. And basically what she did was beat back the forces of evil from the realm of the dead, made a deal with a bunch of witches in the woods in Armenia. She sold her soul, a nasty creature that I have actually had a run-in with myself. The bastard scratched the hell out of my car and jumped on it. It was a mess. I tell the story in the show.
It's just the ghost of you and me. It's just the smoking gasoline. It's just the ghost of you and me. Of you and me. Don't let them take you away.
They say staring in the abyss.
Don't let them bring you down inside. It's just the mirrors in
I'd
your
say
mind. Don't let them bring
I
you
already am lost.
down.
Staring into the abyss. Remember, there might be something staring back. Come get
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Staring into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr. And with me as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How is everybody tonight?
On tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about something that has been taking the internet by storm lately. I'm sure that most of you have heard about it if you are on Facebook at all, because I've seen it probably at least 10 times just today. And that is the plan to storm Area 51. There's a group that did a Facebook event kind of thing where they're planning on going to Area 51 and storming it in mass, try to gain access and see what's in there. The event was started, obviously, as a joke. The guy that did it even said it was a joke. And most of the people in that event that are commenting and everything, they kind of understand that it's a joke and they're just having fun with it. But you have some that are actually serious about this, and that's the kind of scary thing. I've been asked about this multiple times in the last day, so I figured it'd be a good thing for us to do a show on. Old boy actually brought this to my attention first, and as I started looking into it, I started seeing everybody was posting it, and then it just kind of was crazy. And there's many articles about this as well. So basically the plan is, you got about 300,000 or a little bit more people that have said that they are going to go and do this. You have about another 300,000 that are interested in it. Now those sound like big numbers. And if 300,000 people showed up and stormed the place, there's little doubt that they're gonna get into the main building. Now whether or not they'd actually get any further than that, who knows? Because if Area 51 is what they think it is, I guarantee you nothing worth looking at is going to be right there in the front. You're going to have to go way down underground to find anything interesting. So most likely they're going to have proper codes to get down there, and they're just not going to have that, so they're just going to be wandering around the lobby. I happen to think that Area 51 is not what everybody thinks it is, and we will get into that a little bit later on the show. We'll talk about Area 51, we'll talk about what goes on at Area 51, what people think goes on at Area 51, what has been proven to have gone on at Area 51, all those things. That's for later, but for right now, we're going to talk a little bit about this gag event, because that's what it started out as, is just a joke. But like I said, some people are actually taking this seriously. So the idea is they are going to storm en masse, and they've gotten very creative. The people that understand that this is all a lark, they've gotten very creative in this event coming up with battle plans. I was reading some of them today. They're very interesting. You have a bunch of different groups that are going to be, they have what they call Naruto runners. I guess I'm saying that correctly. It's some anime character that apparently runs so fast that bullets can't hit him. I'm not really an anime guy, so I don't really know who it is. But supposedly there's going to be a lot of people that are going to run like this anime character with their arms out behind them, and they'll run so fast that bullets can't hit them. And then they're going to have what they call the Kyles, which I'm sure you have all seen the Kyle memes. It's basically guys named Kyle who are mad at their step parents, who drink Monster Energy and punch holes in drywall. That's the joke. So they're going to have a bunch of Kyles that are going to beat down the walls. They're going to have a bunch of furries that are going to do a little dance on the other side to distract the guards. And then they're going to have the main group that's going to sneak quietly in while there's a big distraction going on. That's the basic battle plan that I've seen today as I was looking into this. Now, obviously, this is all a jest. It's all in fun. But as I said earlier, there are some people that are actually thinking that this is a real thing. For those people, I would just like to go on record right now as saying, please do not show up at Area 51 and try to storm the place. That is a very, very stupid idea. Even if you manage to get enough people that you can get in the place, you're not going to be able to get access to anything important because you're not going to have the proper codes. What you're going to find is a very big steel door with a keypad, and you're not going to know the numbers to press into that keypad, so you're not going anywhere. Also, if they decided that they wanted to shoot you, and make no mistake, the military guards at Area 51 have orders that they are allowed to shoot on sight. So if you try to storm the place, they are allowed to shoot you. Now, whether they will or not is open for debate, but they are allowed to, and they may be ordered to. Anybody who's ever done any time in the military can tell you that in most things, follow orders when they're given. I, for one, if I was a guard at Area 51 and there was a bunch of civilians rushing the place that were obviously just dumb kids, because that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about terrorists. We're not talking about grown, dangerous people, outlaws or bikers or convicts. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a bunch of millennials that are just kids. They may be of legal age, some of them, but they're just kids. If you remember back to the time when you were a child and when you were a young adult, you were kind of dumb. Most of us were. I am a extremely intelligent man, as I'm sure that if you're a regular on this show, I've demonstrated that multiple times talking about different subjects. I was out of my damn mind when I was young. I did some of the dumbest things you could possibly imagine. And that's kind of the way youth is. So when I say the stupidity of youth, I don't mean that they are dumb people, because there are a lot of them are very, very smart people. But when you're young, you don't have a proper sense of mortality. You don't understand that your lifespan is finite, it's not infinite, that you can and very probably will die in a very horrifying way. You think you're invincible. So you do a lot of dumb things. You don't have the proper life experience to gauge whether something is really a good idea or not. Now, once again, I'm not casting aspersions. I am a guy that built my own cannon and blew a hole in my barn. I jumped off of a bridge and got stuck up to my waist in mud and almost drowned. I've done dumb things in my life. So it's not saying that these are dumb people or that they don't have the intelligence to make proper decisions. They just simply don't have the life experience. They're driven by emotion and hormones and all the stuff that drives you when you're young, and you make dumb choices. And believe me, storming Area 51 is a dumb choice. Now, whether or not they'll actually shoot you, like I said, that's up for debate, because if I was a guard, I would not shoot some dumb kid that's running up to the place. Now, you're going to have to subdue them. You're going to have to knock them out. You might gas them. You might whoop up on them a little bit to get them to calm down. And I'm not advocating any of those things, but that would be a better solution than opening fire on these people if they decide to do this. But I honestly do not, by any stretch of the imagination, believe that you're going to have anywhere close to those numbers actually show up. The overwhelming majority of people that say that they're going to any Facebook event never actually show up. People will click they're going, they're not going. And I think that's the same here. A lot of these people understand that this is a joke. They understand it's all in fun, but they're not actually going to do anything. And I think that's the majority. But I do also believe that you're going to have a couple people that are probably going to try to show up and do this. Now, hopefully, when they get there, there's only a handful of them, and they realize they don't have anywhere near the numbers they need to do anything, and it'd be better just to go home. But there are a lot of crazy people. You know, there are a lot of crazy people, and there's a lot of people that their elevator doesn't exactly go to the top floor, if you know what I'm saying. There are people in this world that will do dumb stuff like this and be completely serious about it and end up getting themselves killed or hurt very, very badly. Before I get into Area 51 more about what goes on there and all that kind of stuff, I want to throw over to Old Boy first because I want to get his opinion on this event and this stuff that's going on before we start talking about the history of Area 51 and what goes on there and what we think might be actually happening and all that stuff.
Thank you, brother. And I'm glad you actually did this show because I wanted you to do it because I kept, like he was saying, I've been seeing stuff all week about this. And then I finally said something to him and he's been seeing it all. Originally it was like 250,000. Now it's up to 450. There's actually a petition going around. Like 250 people have signed it. But like he said, there's going to be probably about, out of the 100% people, maybe 10, 15 people, 15% of the people show up. But what people need to realize is I live in California. I live by here. It's about 4 or 5 hours away. If you go to Area 51, even try to go to Area 51, within 25 to 30 miles, they send guards. They already have it on camera. When you go there, because I've drove to the borderline a long time ago, long time ago, to the gate, the first gates, and they're 30 miles till you can get into there. They know you're there. They know you're there within 30 miles. And then they let you go in for about 5 or 10, and then they send the guards after you there to watch you. No one's going to just go in. This place is fenced off. And if you think you're going to get in it, like James said, for one, what I've heard, because my company used to do Area 51, I can't say the company, but I know that they do it. They don't just have regular military guards. They have civilian guards like us, and there's like probably about 5,000 to 10,000 soldiers there. This is a big complex. It's underground. People need to realize that you're not going to they have a fence everywhere. It's electronic fence. You're going to get electrocuted for one. That's like 2 or 3 miles even before you get there. This place is bigger than what people think. That wouldn't be a smart idea, and actually they will shoot you. And I'm going to tell you something. If you do try this, you could die. They don't play around. They'll give you a warning. Once you get too close, they're going to either arrest you or you're going to get shot if you get inside, if you're lucky enough to get inside there. Because I'm going to tell you now, people are talking about it. They probably, just in case, have added more guards there. And then you got to realize that it's by Edwards, so they can get the military at any time to come over. It's not a smart idea. So just remember that. They have reinforcements, and they will send it. And it will be a mess. And trust me, all these people on the internet, most of these people don't even live by Nevada anyway. But if you actually do this foolish stuff just to be cool, or, we're going to just attack Area 51, they're going to let you in. There's a reason why you can't even get by that place with 25 miles even towards it. They already have stuff posted. They go after you. I've seen video. I've been by it. You can't get any closer. They will go after you. They will send their guards after you. And then if they find out who you are, they're going to come to your house and they're going to take your computer and whatever you think. And you might even see some jail time because you got them basically you're talking about going to a government military institutions or base. They finally are starting to admit what it is. They were trying to hide it for a while, but you've got to realize this. You're asking people, even though it's a joke and most people know it's a joke and you're making jokes, they're not going to think it as a joke. And people, if you really do show up, you could go to jail for a long time because you're going to a military base without permission. It's not a smart idea. So I think it's funny. I hope I know somebody's going to be stupid enough to try it. We both know that it's going to happen. So somebody's going to end up going to jail or getting shot. I hope it doesn't happen, but I already see it happening. No one, especially out here, I know how people are. So it's going to be kind of funny, but it's kind of going to be kind of frightening of what's going to happen. But yeah, there you go, James. I think it's hilarious.
I think with the several months advance notice that they have given of their plans, I think that the proper preparation has been made to hopefully avoid loss of life, but you never know. When you're talking about something like this, to the people that realize that this is all a joke and they're just having fun with it, they don't understand that the people that don't think it's a joke, that actually think they're going to do this, what you're talking about here is you are talking about attacking a military base. Because that's what it is. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, military installation, a black site, whatever. It's a base. There's soldiers there. And the funny thing is, the original reason they wanted to do was they wanted to go there to see the aliens and to tickle their butts. That's what it said on the event page. They want to tickle the aliens' butts. Now, how anybody can look at that and not realize that it's all a joke, that it's all fun, is beyond me. But you will have people, and I've seen the comments of the people that think this is serious and that they want to actually do this. It's a crazy idea, and you're not going to find what you're looking for. You don't have the alien stuff taking place in Area 51. It's not where you think it is. Believe me, anything like that the government is up to, you don't even know the place exists. It is way underground. And I don't mean underground by hidden necessarily, just that. I also mean literally it is underground. They have installations and complexes that go miles into the ground that you've never even heard of before. You don't even know that they exist. That is where all of the good stuff is taking place. Nothing crazy like that is going to be taking place in Area 51 because everybody knows about Area 51. What is actually taking place at Area 51 is highly classified, but it is not alien stuff. Basically, Area 51 is used for experimental aircraft. It is where all of our spy planes were developed and tested and run through their paces. It's where the government works on new planes and new technology that they're coming up with. They had a plane that they called the Ox Cart, and this plane had a very large round fuselage underneath of it. The reason it had a very large round fuselage underneath of it was to hold a tremendous amount of fuel so that it could travel very long distances without having to refuel. Problem is this thing is screaming by really, really fast in the sky because it booked, man. It went quick. All you see from the ground is a round saucer shape, just hauling ass through the sky. So people see that up in the sky and they say, oh my God, it's a flying saucer, man. It's a UFO. And they call in their little UFO reports. That stuff gets sent back in the day to the Air Force and Project Blue Book. And all they do at Project Blue Book was they would just check the flight logs from Area 51. They'd say, okay, what flights took place the day and the time of that sighting? Oh, they were flying the Ox Cart. That's what it was. And they just write it off. Okay, that's what it was. No big deal. The majority of these UFO sightings that people have had in that area are not extraterrestrial at all. They are terrestrial experimental aircraft. They are aircraft that our government is working on. Whenever our government comes out with a brand new fighter jet or a brand new spy plane, that technology has existed for 20 or 30 years. It was worked on 20 or 30 years ago at a place like Area 51. And Area 51 is not the only site, but that is what goes on there. They've had that technology for a long, long time. And then once you find out about it, it's already been in use for a long, long time. The stuff that they're working on now is beyond your wildest dreams, the capabilities that they have. But it's all classified, so the public does not know about it. The government is not going to come out and prove that there are no aliens in Area 51 because they want you to believe that that is what is taking place there. They want you to think that. Because if you think that it's alien stuff going on there, then one, you're not going to be poking around trying to see what kind of aircraft they're working on. They don't want that technology or those ideas to fall into the hands of the enemy. And two, if you think that all that stuff is going on at Area 51, you're not going to be looking for any other site where it's actually happening. That is why they want you to believe that. They would rather you believe a lie than to know the actual truth. Does the government have alien technology? Do they know aliens exist? The answers to those questions are yes, the government does have alien technology. There was a program run out of the Pentagon where they actually reverse engineered alien technology to get a lot of the breakthroughs that we have today in microprocessors, in microchips, in a lot of different fields That technology came from alien craft originally. It was not the government that actually developed that technology. What they did, and it was run out of a very, very small office in the Pentagon. Not much bigger than a closet, really. It was tiny. But what they did was they got with corporations, these tech firms, and they said, listen, we have this technology. We want you to test it. We want you to research it. We want to know what the hell it is and what the hell it does. Once you figure this out, we will use it for military purposes, and you can have the patent for civilian purposes. So if you want to make products out of it, or you want to make technology out of it for the general public to make a lot of money, you are free to do so. We get the military side of it to use it for military means. That is the payment that they received for developing this technology for the government. That is how it was handled. It isn't that they have a site that everybody knows about in Area 51 where there's hidden aliens and they're doing autopsies on them and there's spacecraft flying all around. And I've even heard some people say that Area 51 is a starport where, like from Men in Black, where aliens will come down and like they're landing at an airport. And that's how they get disseminated into the population. It's craziness. It's nonsense. That's not happening there. And I've seen some crazy things, and I know some crazy things. But believe me, anything like that that's taking place, you're never even going to know it exists. It's not going to be in some big, fancy, heavily guarded installation that everybody in the world knows about. And if they are doing that kind of testing and that kind of technology, that is taking place far underground where you will never find it. So the idea that these people are going to somehow burst through the security and get into Area 51 and then there's going to be aliens running around everywhere and they're just all going to have a good old time, it's not going to happen. Have they even considered what they would do if they did get in? How do you know that if this place is a place where aliens come to, like they think, and they're working with our military, how do you know that they're friendly? How do you know that the aliens aren't just going to vaporize your ass as soon as you get in there? I mean, because you got to think about this. If you have an alien species that can come here, that means that they are technologically advanced enough to not only be capable of leaving their own planet and traveling through space, but also they have the ability to travel around the speed of light. Because in order to reach us from another galaxy or even another solar system, you've got to be moving super quick, because otherwise the distance is just far too great and you're not going to make it here. You're going to die way before you get here. So they've mastered light speed travel, or they've mastered the ability to do like what Einstein theorized about, using wormholes, of actually bending space and time to travel from point A to point B almost simultaneously. They've mastered something like that enables them to travel vast distances in almost no time at all. They've mastered the technology to keep themselves alive on our planet, because we don't know if the atmosphere where they're from is the same as the atmosphere here. What I'm getting at is these people are technologically advanced to the point that they can get here. We can't get there. That means they are way more advanced than we are. So what makes you think that you're going to be able to just run in there and do whatever silly thing you want to do? If they're capable of getting here, they're fully capable of taking you out, no problem. If you believe the eyewitness reports and everything, then people have been picked up, abducted, and probed, and all kinds of weird experiments run on and put back on Earth on a regular basis, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. Some of the reports, people talk about they're in their house and they lose hours, and all of a sudden it's like hours later they don't have any memory of what happened. And under hypnosis and stuff, it comes out that they were actually paralyzed. These aliens just kind of walked in just calm as can be and just snatched them up and took them, and they couldn't do a thing to stop them. So if they have that kind of technology that they can do those kind of things, what are you planning on doing when you get in there? I mean, that'd be a hell of a note, wouldn't it? That you travel all the way to Nevada, you risk your life to get through all the guards, you get in there, and the aliens just paralyze you and probe your butt. And then you leave all dejected and sad. Like, I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? Best case scenario, a couple of you show up and realize how dumb it is and you go home. Worst case scenario, you just might get yourself shot to try to get in and see something that's not even there in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that aliens don't exist. Getting back to my questions, yes, I believe aliens exist. Yes, our government knows that aliens exist. Yes, our government has reverse engineered alien technology in the past. None of those things are untrue. None of those things are crazy conspiracy theories. It's all true. But I just don't believe that it's taking place at Area 51. There are underground facilities that's pretty much like a city underground. It is spectacular. And there's many of them. The general public does not know that they exist. But there's several of them all around the country. They go down miles and miles and miles into the ground. Those are the places where I would be looking for this kind of activity. Not in a place like Area 51 where everybody knows that it exists and everybody thinks that aliens are there. So I'm going to throw back over to Old Boy and see what he thinks about that.
Here's what I'm going to say about this whole thing. I hope you listen to this, guys, because I don't think anybody that listen to our show is going to go do this. But if there is, if you decide to go, please don't. One, you're not going to get in the facility. You're probably going to get arrested or you're possibly shot. And it's like James was saying, if you do get in this somehow, and I really doubt you are, if the aliens are there, you're not going to want, like I said, they're going to do things to you that, like, you guys see this, what happens on TV, on these TV shows. I mean, some of that's exaggerated too. But like Fire in the Sky, you remember that movie, guys? Where they disappeared for, months? Some of them didn't even come back, and they all came back with all these crazy stories, and they passed lie detector tests, and people don't believe them. But they said it all, they were getting probed, stuff put in their stomach. They had all these crazy stuff happening to them. They disappeared for months. That can happen. And it's not just hours like James was talking about. It's been days, weeks. Some people don't come back. They're doing experiments on people when they take you. You don't know what they're doing. Now, what do you think is going to happen there? And like I said, I really doubt you're going to get in there. But just say for laughs, you somehow get into these bases, like James said. What do you think you're going to do? Tickle an alien's butt? Come on now, if you really believe that. I mean, if you really believe some of the stuff, but you see, the sad thing is, everybody believes everything they read. So I do believe people are going to go. I'm not going to be surprised. Because there's a lot of people who are very ignorant and they don't really pay attention. They don't know their history or they don't know the situation. They see something and they want to be cool and they want to be hip and they want to do something to get on TV and to be famous. So we're going to go attack a military base, a secret black ops military base, one of the most well known because of the stuff they hide there. People, they wouldn't even know it was there. They didn't even admit to it existed for up to a few years ago. And when James says he knows things, he really does. He used to work for him. His dad worked for the military in the Pentagon. So he's not lying to you guys. He knows what he's talking about. There is secret bases. I've seen it. I wouldn't say the whole general public. If people are starting to know about it now, like Jesse Ventura, who went out and showed some of these places, then they took him off TV as soon as he was doing it. Remember that, guys? They kicked him right off TV because he was telling too many people about these bases. They're like full-blown cities. They got shelters, they got vehicles, they go down so much because if something happens, they could close up here and they're going miles down, like 10, 12 miles, 15 miles down into the ground. And if a nuclear blast hits, it's not going to go underground. It doesn't seep that far. So this is why they're building these bases. I know why they're building these bases. We don't have to get into this because something's going to happen. And I don't know if it's with aliens or time or what's going to happen. When James was talking about bending time. But these things, there's good and there's probably bad. People talk about the different alien races. I don't want to get into that. But some of these races don't like us, according to some people. Even some people and presidents have said some of these beings don't like us. And then there's some that do. But there's some that just done really nasty stuff to us. I really believe that they do exist, like James said. I don't believe it is what what the people say on Area 51, I kind of go with James. We're finding new technology, new planes, and we probably have had alien technology there. I believe that. Future technology. I believe they've been there because there's been people that wrote in books about it. But right now, do I believe it's going on? No. Supposedly, there's another one in Colorado. It's kind of like Area 51. That's like the new Area 51. It's bigger. It's in the mountains, and they're doing supposedly the same stuff there. Experimental airplanes, messing with alien technology. I believe that. But at Area 51, I think it's exactly what James. I think too many people have been watching Hollywood because they've made video games about Area 51, movies. Look at Independence Day, the original one. They went to Area 51 and they had the remember he's all we don't guys all aliens don't exist. That's not 100% true. They had a spaceship down there. So I think people watch movies and they watch stuff on TV because there's a lot of documentaries and people talking about Area 51 that they believe it's there. So these people try to go there and then they get caught with these cops and they get chased out. They show the military police chase you out, or the guards or whatever you want to call them. They chase you out. They don't even let you get certain far. Then they watch you. Even when you leave the premises, they'll still follow you off the property, and then they'll take off. But they already have your license plates. They already know who you are. They already are watching what you're doing. They know what. And just to tell you this you might think this is a joke, but they're not taking it as a joke. They're going to be watching very closely now if this is going to happen, because I really believe there's going to be somebody stupid enough to do this. So. So yes, I agree with you on the other things, James. I believe this stuff exists, but please don't do anything, especially you listen to our show. Please don't do it. I don't want to see that you listen to our show and then one of our guys get arrested or shot. I'd be really sad. But all this other stuff, remember another thing, guys. Please stop watching so much TV and movies. That's not always true. I know some of it is true, but not all of it is. They're not going to be buddies with you. It's not going to be like Mars Attacks either, where they're going to just fry you or something. But if there's something in there, you're probably not going to get to it. Especially if they have a base down on the ground. They have plenty of people watching and protection and military. If you somehow sneak there, they're going to catch you. They're going to have you on camera. Even when you get into a place, they're going to see you. You're not going to get away with this. And you know what? It's going to be, you're going to go to jail for 10, 15 years. And people are going to see you, or you're going to get killed. Or then they're going to go after your family. Then they're going to go see what you know about this place. So it's just not a good idea. So, yes, please don't do it. The whole alien thing, I believe aliens exist again. I've seen stuff in the sky. I've seen things that I don't care what anybody says. They're not just lights or meteors. They don't go back and forth and then fly off. I've seen stuff like that, especially even I live in the high desert in California. In the desert, we see weird stuff out here. We have our own weird stuff. So we had George Air Force Base. That was a really big Air Force base. We had I forget what the Edwards. There's another Edwards down in Lancaster. There's the military base down here in Barstow. There was another base there too. I think they closed that one. That was the Marine one. And we had a lot of bases out here around this area because it's the desert area. So we have our own legends. Like, the George Air Force Base is supposed to be really, really haunted. It's abandoned, except they bought some of the property, but they saying it's haunted there. And they were doing stuff there. I've never heard anything, but they say that. And they got Fort Irwin. That's down in Palmdale. I think that's the one I was talking about. That's down there in Lancaster or Palmdale. It's one of those areas. That's the low desert, and the same thing. There's stuff going there. I mean, I see fighter planes, and I see what do they call those big jets, the military jets, and I see Black Hawk helicopters all the time flying back and forth, filling up. So there's something around these bases, but we have our own things, but never really aliens. It's always been hauntings, or I never really seen nothing crazy other than I've seen stuff fly around and then going back and forth. And that's not a meteor, guys. So no, James, I agree with you totally.
The problem is you have a lot of these supposed insiders, these whistleblowers, let's call them. that come out and they say, oh, I worked at Area 51 for this many years and this is what's going on there. And then everybody sees that and believes it. But the problem is when you actually check the story out and you look into these people, you find out they're not who they say they are. They claim this, they claim that, and then, I have a PhD from MIT, and then you look and there's no record of them ever going to MIT. That kind of thing. But then a lot of them have police records for fraud and for being a con man and that kind of stuff. The people that actually know these things, the real people that are working at sites where this highly classified stuff is taking place, those people are not talking about it. And there's an extremely good reason for that. When you violate, let's just call them a non-disclosure agreement, like you would sign with a company, same basic principle here, but when you violate this, you don't get sued. Okay? Best case scenario, you're going to prison for a long, long time. Majority of the time what happens is you have a car accident or a heart attack or you commit suicide. If you're into the really classified stuff, not only will they kill you, but they'll kill your family. These people don't mess around. They don't play. That's why the people that actually know this stuff, they don't talk about it. That's why some of the things I know, I don't ever talk about. Because the idea that you're just going to go out and just start telling everybody, that doesn't happen in real life. Because anybody that tries that disappears. Anybody that tries to disclose what they know, they end up dead. Or they just simply disappear and you never see them again. And nobody ever knows what happened to them. So whenever you have somebody come out and claim to be a whistleblower, claim that they worked at this site and this is what's going on there, that kind of thing, you always got to be real careful, because if that is true, then that is rarer than walking along and finding a diamond on the ground. And at the exact same time, you get struck by lightning and you have a winning lottery ticket in your pocket. It just doesn't happen. Because the people that are involved in this stuff that actually know it, they know better than to speak about it. Now, I've said some things on this episode. But those things that I have said on this episode are already public knowledge. Now, not everybody knows them, but that information has been released through the Freedom of Information Act. Those documents are out there. You can find them for yourself. So I have not disclosed anything that I was not supposed to disclose. I've said before, whenever we start talking about things like this, we have to be very, very careful. There are reasons for that. And I know a lot of people don't understand that. But trust me when I tell you, you're not going to have somebody just come out and say, hey, I was a janitor at Area 51, and let me tell you all about the aliens there. It's not true. First of all, if you're a janitor, you don't know what the hell's going on down there anyway, because you're not allowed down there. But you have people that claim to be scientists that worked on this stuff, and trust me, if they were actually scientists that worked on this stuff, they wouldn't be talking about it. Because it is made very, very clear to you that you cannot speak about anything you see or hear, and what will happen if you do. There is no gray area. You're not sitting at home thinking, I wonder if I could get away with talking about this. You know damn well you can't. And that's why you don't. So that's all I'm going to say about it is always take that stuff with a grain of salt. Because time and time again, you've had people that have come out and claimed a lot of things. But it just never passes the sniff test. Now, I'm not saying that none of this stuff is real. I'm not saying that at all. Our government does a lot of stuff that most people have no idea of. I'll go a step further than that. They do a lot of stuff that our own government doesn't even know about. See, there are levels to government. You have all the agencies that everybody knows about. And then you have agencies that nobody knows about, except for a few people. They're not on the books. You can't look it up because they're not there. They don't exist, except they do. That's why in the military budget, they're paying $6,000 for a hammer. You remember that stuff when you were growing up? People used to always laugh about that. Oh, these dummies paid 20 grand for a toilet seat. No, they paid probably $10 for that toilet seat, and the rest of that money went to a black project somewhere. That's how it's hidden on the books. They have huge chunks of the budget that go into certain departments that is just discretionary spending, that they don't account for. The Defense Department lost like $1 trillion. They don't even know where it went, supposedly. Just, oops, it's gone. We have no idea. That's how these things are done. The stuff that's taking place is stuff that nobody's talking about because nobody knows about it. And there is some crazy, crazy stuff that not only our government, but other governments in the world are doing. And I believe there will come a day when a lot of that stuff will be made public. And I think that day is coming soon. But it has to be done in a certain way. And it has to be done by a certain timeline because it is extremely dangerous to talk about things that you're not supposed to be talking about, that are not supposed to be put out in the public. It is extremely dangerous to do so. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is anytime you have people come out and claim that they have inside knowledge of this, that, or the other thing because they work there and they want to tell you all about it, no holds barred, they just want to give you every little detail. You always got to kind of wonder to yourself, does that pass the sniff test? Because believe me, the people that have all that knowledge, they're not talking about it. So I'm going to throw it back over to Old Boy and get his final summation of everything we've talked about tonight and see if there's anything else that he wants to add.
Yeah, actually I do. I'm going to give you a story. It's going to be quick because we only got a little bit of time left. You guys all listen to Art Bell. He used to live in Pahrump, Nevada. And he was very popular, you guys remember, with the show he used to do on KCAL. It was out here, coast to coast. Now George Norrie does it. But the reason he got popular was, and it says it's one of the top 10 unsolved radio conversations of all time, because he was doing a show at night, and all of a sudden this guy called in from, he was flying one of those little planes to Area 51, and he was flying over Area 51, and he was telling Art Bell he was doing this stuff, and Art Bell told him to quit doing it. He's going to get shot down or go to jail or killed. Well, he got in there and he started talking about some of the stuff he saw, and then about 5 minutes later you hear boom, boom, and then that's it. It goes dead. There's no more radio signal, nothing. And you never heard anything else from this guy. And Art Bell would talk about this, and this is where he got, this is one of his most famous, I think it was one of his most famous shows. So that should tell you guys something. This guy really was flying over, and he disappeared. They shot him down, and you never heard anything else from it. Art Bell talked about it because of his shows and stuff like that. But that's what got famous, because this guy actually did what these people wanted to do and tried to fly over in a little plane and got shot down and probably killed, because he probably saw something he wasn't supposed to see. He was saying stuff too. And like James was saying, there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, they seen this and did that. And dude, they would be dead. You can't talk about some of the stuff, especially they don't want people knowing about it. I mean, they got people in trouble for telling anybody about Area 51. Then you got nosy people who want to know everything, and they go out there and they say, just like they have like some place you can buy, like it's by Area 51. It's a little store. You can buy all this stuff. Like that's where the alien jerky came from. Some guy out there made the name and stuff like that, and then they have a store buying all this alien stuff. But this guy who originally did that, they went and took everything from his house, his computers, because he was getting too close about this Area 51, talking too much, going and talking to people who used to work there, or said they worked there, or a janitor said, "Oh yeah, I saw this and that." For one, he wouldn't be alive. He wouldn't be talking, because for after you retire from the military, you got to sign an oath anyway. And I don't even want to talk about that because I'm not supposed to be talking about certain things either. But I'm just telling you, a lot of this stuff you hear on TV, yeah, some of it may be true, but most of it's crap. Maybe not Roswell. I mean, that was in New Mexico. That's a whole different story. That wasn't a base. I believe stuff like that. But they don't want you to know stuff because they don't, and this is the truth. This has been said. They don't want you to know the truth because you couldn't handle it. And that's the truth. Most people cannot handle knowing this stuff, aliens, ghosts, anything exists, because you couldn't comprehend it. Your mind won't accept it, that something like this could be real. And it's not just a TV show. Remember, a lot of stuff people say, there's some truth to it. I don't know what you're going to do. Their technology is 20 times better than ours. We're kind of screwed unless we're getting protected by some other aliens, and I think that's a whole nother story to talk about. But that's my opinion. If you guys are going to do this thing, remember, when you go out there, turn around, and then also remember, don't always listen to what you read on Facebook or on the internet. Most of it, or some of these TV shows, like what is Ancient Aliens? I used to watch that. I mean, there's some truth to it, but I think they exaggerate it so much to make people want to watch it. You're not going to want to just sit here and listen to logic and history. It gets boring. You want people to, oh yeah, this thing chased me out of the airplane or wherever I'm at. I'm just making up, showing an example, but that's what you don't want. So just don't always believe all this stuff. And yes, I believe in aliens. I don't believe that Area 51 has all the stuff they say they do. I believe there's just stuff there. And I think this is going to be a big mistake if anybody goes out there. But that's all I got to say, James. And I hope everybody has a good night.
Remember when Jesse Ventura, when he was governor, right after he got done being governor, he was doing that conspiracy theory show. He went to Area 51. Now, he got to the point where those big signs are, which is still miles away from the actual place. And he was just there by the sign with his film crew. A car comes pulling up, and armed guards get out with their weapons. Now, keep in mind, this is a former governor. Okay, forget the fact that he's Jesse Ventura, a celebrity. Forget the fact that he was a wrestler. Forget all that. This is a guy who served in the military in the Underwater Demolitions Unit, which was the precursor to the SEALs. He was the governor of the state of Minnesota. So you have a former governor standing there. And they had their guns out on him and ran him off. He didn't get any further than that sign. And he was a governor. So imagine what they'll do to you if you try to go there. If you actually want to know what's going on in Area 51, if that's a big deal in your life that you actually have to know, then do it the proper way. File Freedom of Information request. If you want to protest out there. Get a permit, do it properly, and protest until the government gives you what you want. But don't think you're going to storm the place. That's crazy. Worst case scenario, you're going to die. I guarantee you, if you storm the place, at least you're going to prison. Because that is very, very illegal and very, very foolish. Now, my final words on this. To the people that are on this Facebook event page who understand that this is a joke and are having fun with it, putting all kinds of cool memes out there and all that kind of stuff, hat tip to all of you. I get it. I know that it's a joke. Okay? I'm not taking this seriously. I understand this is all fun and games. I get it. All I'm saying is for the few people out there who are kind of mentally deranged and think that they're going to actually do this, don't do this. And I know me saying don't do this is not going to make a damn bit of difference because you're going to do it anyway. But don't do it, please. Because you're going to end up dead or in jail. So I'm going to throw it back over to old boy for his shout outs and we're going to wrap this puppy up.
Thank you, brother. I want to thank everybody from ParaX for listening to us. Over 6,000 subscribers. We're need to get a little bit that up a little bit, but thank you all, guys. If you want to subscribe and listen to all these old shows and the newer shows, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now on Parax Radio. So check us out on James Hershey's YouTube page. He'll tell you where to go. You want to buy merchandise, shirts, cups, mugs, pants, leggings, you can get it. Like I said, you want something specially made, we'll tell us and we'll do it, or we'll autograph it for you. Like I said, guys, we love you. We just try to tell you some stuff because some people said, like one of our shows we did I didn't want to bring it up a couple weeks ago. You guys kept talking about the consequences and and complaining about it. We try to tell people stuff so they don't do something dumb. So you'll get busted or go to jail or get killed. Or have your life ruined, like James said. And people around you, life ruined. That's why we tell you stuff. And we also believe this stuff. And we also try to find out if it's true or not. So remember that, guys. But we love you, misfits, sugar ladies, monster hunters, and demon lovers. Good night and blessed be.
Yeah, that's so important. A lot of people have a view of the paranormal and of ghost hunting and all those things as some fun thing to do. It's the popular thing right now. It's kind of taken off in culture. But what we always try to stress to people is when you're dealing with the real things, like demons and some of these creatures that are very, very dangerous, it isn't fun and games. You can get very, very hurt. Especially, the thing now is demons. Everybody wants to mess with demons. Everybody's going out because they've seen Ghost Adventures or one of those shows, and they're trying to go and mess with demons. That's nothing to play with. They will destroy your entire life. I've seen it over and over and over again. We've gone on cases and helped families that are being attacked by demons. One family we helped, the thing is back. The dude woke up in his bed and there was a black figure in his bed with him staring at him. Scared the ever-loving hell out of the guy. And this is a tough guy. But he freaked out. And we got to go back there with the exorcist and try to take care of this thing. It's not all what you see on TV of sitting there talking to a box all night and maybe getting one response. On some of the bad cases, it is very, very dangerous. And you have a very good chance of being hurt or killed or having something happen to your family or your friends or something like that. These things are dangerous. And that's what we try to get across to people is if you want to go out and play with your spirit box and all that kind of stuff and have a good time and you don't really believe this is real, just understand that it is real. And when you're talking about demons or something like that, just don't mess with it. It's not worth it because they are extremely dangerous. So with that being said, time for the shameless plugs. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. That's where all the old Staring into the Abyss shows are. We put every show up the day after it airs on the radio. We also have a YouTube TV show we do there called Tales from the Abyss, where we take you along on some of these investigations we do. Every episode of Tales from the Abyss is on the channel as well. You also have a bunch of paranormal news videos and stuff like that on there that we do. It's all 100% free, so please go to the channel, subscribe, and enjoy it. We're over 1 million views on the channel. That's awesome. For some reason, the subscriber count kind of gets stuck for a while, and then it shoots up by a whole bunch, and then it gets stuck for a while. I don't know if that's a YouTube thing or what it is. I don't quite understand it. But please go there, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy it. 100% free. The merchandise store is teespring.com/stores/staring into the abyss. That's teespring.com/stores with an S on the end /staring into the abyss. That's where all of the merch is. If you want staring shirts or mugs or Tales from the Abyss shirts or mugs or hoodies or posters or any of that kind of stuff, that's where all that is if you want it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for all the support and all the love you give us. And if there's a particular subject that you'd like us to do a show on, look us up on Facebook. We have a Staring into the Abyss page, I believe it is, on Facebook that you can go to and like that page, and you can comment or send us a message or whatever. We're also on Instagram. Tales from the Abyss is on Instagram, and Tales from the Abyss is also on Facebook. So there's many, many different ways. And then you can just find me, James Hershey Jr., or James Ash, which is Old Boy's name. You can find us on Facebook as well. And just send us a message and let us know if there's something that you'd like us to do a show about, something you want us to check out or give you more information about. So we are pretty much out of time for this episode. I hope that you've enjoyed it. And until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.